Hello, and welcome to Don't Go In There. This video is meant to be an out-of-universe explanation of this channel and its purpose. Writing has always been a hobby of mine, even if I'd never shared any of my stories with anyone. I never really thought they were worth anything to anyone else until I started running D&D a few years ago. That was my first real taste of what it was like to share stories with other people. It's thanks to that experience I've learned that someone might get something out of what I have to write, and if they don't, then I enjoyed writing regardless. Looking at it from a practical perspective, I don't really have anything to lose by sharing these, only the ability to entertain other people along with myself. DGIT is a series of interconnected short stories with overall themes of horror and mystery. It takes place primarily in our modern world, with one key difference. The supernatural is real, and it is strange. If I had to describe the setting in a few sentences, I would do so as such. In the oldest shadows and the corners of forgotten places, things stir as the world enters a new era. The men behind the curtains believe they understand the plot of the play, looking to their resources, their research, and their ideologies for reassurance. The truth, however, is that they know about as much as the clueless audience. In this world, information is the most powerful and most dangerous resource. With too little, you won't stand a chance against the things that lurk in the dark. With too much, you might risk losing yourself. Yet, life goes on. Most will never know of the world just beyond the veil of shadow. The earth will continue to spin, the seasons will pass, and society will trudge along. It is a universe made of two worlds that cannot coexist, both masks of the other, competing for dominance, the mundane and the extraordinary. It is a world of paradox. Is that by necessity, by chance, or by design? Stories will not take place in chronological order, but in an order which best preserves and enhances the mystery elements of the universe. Information will be fed piecemeal, and not everything will make sense on the first read-through. I trust in the intelligence of the listener that, if they're interested enough in looking more closely at the stories, they'll be able to figure out the mysteries without me telling them the answer. Most stories are theoretically able to stand on their own, but they are intended to be viewed in order of upload date. Some things might be a bit confusing otherwise. I don't really anticipate these tales being all that scary or complex at first while I'm still getting my footing with all of this, nor do I expect any kind of consistent or regular upload schedule. Things will come out when they're done. I am definitely an amateur when it comes to audio and video production, so any criticism or feedback of any kind is greatly appreciated. You can expect a likely quite noticeable uptick in quality around the fourth or fifth story. The first three are ones that I wrote, recorded, and edited over the past year, the first one being done all the way back in February. That story should be out right now. The other two will drop fairly soon, and then there might be a bit of a waiting period. I think one really important thing to nail down, especially as a writer, are your inspirations. I can definitely think of a few, and I've sprinkled some references to many of them all over the place. If you keep an eye out, you might be able to tell who my biggest inspiration was. A couple of notable mentions will be on the screen now, in no particular order. These are the things and people that I pull inspiration from or get me excited about writing horror. These definitely don't encompass every inspiration, they're just the ones I think contribute the most. In terms of video production, I am the sole man responsible. I do all of the graphic design, editing, voice work, and writing. However, I'm not the only one working on DGIT, and I feel it would be disingenuous to claim such. I currently have a small group of about 7 or 8 people, friends of mine, who have graciously volunteered their time to proofread and critique my stories across varying different stages of their production. Their feedback is invaluable in my craft and has led to quite noticeable improvements in the drafts of the stories. One of them has taken it upon themselves to pre-watch every video and send me a detailed list of audio tweaks. DGIT would not exist without these volunteers, who have given me the self-confidence and the feedback necessary to begin putting stories into the world. While I am the sole video editor and graphic designer, I do not create the assets used in my videos by myself. I use royalty-free images, videos, ambient tracks, and music for every story. If you want to see a list of the music, ambient sounds, and background videos, I will always put them in the description. If you pay attention to the music, you will probably notice that a vast majority of it is from a single artist, Nicholas Gasparini, known online as Mew. He's an incredibly prolific musician who's been making unsettling music on YouTube for more than 10 years, and his music is synonymous with creepypastas. If you've listened to one in the last 10 years, you've almost certainly heard his music in the background. This is because all of his high-quality music is free to use, so long as the appropriate credit is provided. The atmosphere of these videos, mine included, could not exist without the goodwill of this one man, so I feel it is necessary to mention him here. A lot of my sound effects are sourced from the YouTube channel Everyday Cinematic Sounds, who I feel also deserve a brief mention here for just how many of their sound effects I've used. The last thing I'll touch on is accessibility. I think it's important for works like this to be as accessible as possible. Sure, listening to the videos is the intended viewing experience, but some people would prefer to read themselves or want to read along with me. This is why I will be providing a PDF of every story in their video descriptions. Also, I'll be including content warnings in the description of every video for the people that benefit from those sorts of things. I don't want this video to go on for too long, so I'll leave it at that for now. I hope you enjoy listening to my stories, and I hope you get something from them. Welcome to DGIT.